Doing today? How are we all doing today? How is your Saturday with you? Because we are doing well here. So, as usual, you're welcome to Connect and Reflect, where we'll bring you different relatable topics of interest, where we connect and reflect on it together. A lot of things happen this week. Should we talk about the VDM and VLOT drama? No. Those people on iPhone, sorry, iPhone users. See, only people on Android have a peace of mind because nobody has replicated what they are using now. So, I don't want to hear a story that touch about 100. Just keep your drama and leave it with iPhone XR and iPhone 17. I can't. As much as I'm enjoying the drama, I feel bad for people who have spent millions to buy iPhone 17, especially if their motive of buying it is to put pressures on others. If you're just buying your phone because you deserve it, because you love it, because you like it, then good for you. But if you buy iPhone 17 because you want to pressure others, oh my goodness, come on there. You're not pressuring anybody anymore. So, and also many things happen. And there was also a guy who went on a broadcast who talked about men's mental health. But the way you put it is the drama. So the way he said it, said when we have babies, especially for new fathers, that a lot of people do not consider how the fathers feel. They only focus attention on the mother and the baby. And this generated a lot of controversies. That do we now have men in skirts? Do we have men who are now jealous of the care that mothers who has gone through delivery now enjoy? So is it about a lot of, and some people are saying that the conversation is not really about the taking care of the mothers after birth. Nobody's dragging that position with the mothers. But fathers too deserve to be catered for. Hi, I don't know, God. Thank you so much for joining, my sister. I love you so much for joining. So now they're saying that, is it about the mental health of the men that too, after being a new father, a lot of emotions, a lot of fear, a lot of daddy's guilt, a lot of things are also running through the man's mind. But nobody cares and nobody bother. Nobody asks questions about this man. How are you doing? Everybody focuses attention on the new mother. The family of the mother focus on the mother. The family of the father focus on the father. The friends of the father focus on the mother. The friends of the mother focus on the mother and the babies. Now nobody's even asking about the new dad. How are you doing, new dad? Nobody cares. What they care about the new dad is asking that the new daddy to run around, asking him about money, and that is basically what the new dad they do. So now this man is now calling on attention on things we hardly talk about, which is the emotions of the daddies in the house. A lot of time we have raised boys to man up, to be a big man, to not to talk about the emotions, not to be vulnerable about how they feel. But in this, as time evolves, now we are talking about mental health, about for men too, because not every time will you tell a man not to cry. Not every time will you tell a man not to speak. This man spoke now. A lot of people called him names because he was talking from his own experience, that he didn't sleep for 12 hours. He didn't sleep for 24 hours because he was taking care of the mother and the baby. And nobody cares about him for not sleeping for that 24 hours. Like, it's like, now, do men's emotion matter? Like, does it really matter, or they should just get out of here? Don't be a baby. Don't be a girl. So these are the conversation we'll be having today. When a baby is born, everybody celebrate the mother. Do we ask the father, how is he doing? Are we expected to ask the father, how is he doing? Brother Slim, do you want to come on camera today, or you just want to be there? I know you. Let me start calling people in and see, should we start asking about the father, how are you doing? Or it's just the man just trying to get attention? He believes that all the attention have shifted from himself, from everybody in the house, to just the mother, and he feel jealous, like, why is she the only one? What has she done? Or it might not be like that. Don't let me trivialize it, but is this that this person also wants attention, or you just want to eat pepper soup because he mentioned that he mentioned that the mother gets everybody cares about the mother by asking her, "Whoa, do you want pepper soup? Do you want pap? Do you want jollof rice? Do you want turkey? Oh, do you want this? Do you want that?" Nobody asked the father, "Oh, my dear, spicy indomie." No, I'm serious here. I'm not gonna. I'm trying to be serious. Should I just spicy noodles or should I just spaghetti? Nobody's asking the father. And somebody said in the comment section while I was reading, said about food I need pepper soup could you carry to bar. I'm sorry. Men's mental health is so important. The society also really the society and the hospital care about the father too in this case. Does anybody even care about how the father is doing? Or they just need that the father too could be feeling some emotions like, I was the one who put this woman into this kind of stress. You might be feeling like, if I had known, maybe I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have had, gone with to bed with this lady. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten her pregnant. Or probably, oh, look at the stress. Now I have to take care of 2 or 3 people now in the home, and many more. So are men really feeling lonely, especially when the attention is not on the mother, and the mother also try to put the attention also on the baby, because at that time the new mom, there's a new mom, the new mom also focuses attention on the baby she just had and ignoring the father. So are fathers feeling lonely or feeling there's going to be hopelessness, and also during this childbirth, or they are just jealous of the attention. So these are many more we'll be discussing today. Today is going to be la hot. Okay, thank you. Olumide, sorry. Dr. Olumide, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Do hospitals also take care of, fathers too when they have new babies? Or do they just make them look like a visitor? Do they give them this mental support? Hi, Tayo, how are you doing?
Good afternoon. Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing too?
Very fine, thank you.
Okay, let's see if we have others too before we set the ball rolling. Let me see if we have others at the corner. So we're talking about our topic is talking about men's mental health during childbirth. Like when the newborn, when they have a new baby, the mother focuses attention on the new baby, and every family members, friends, they really support the new mother and the baby, neglecting the father. And at that period of time, some believe that the father is feeling lonely, feeling unheard. Nobody cares about him at that moment. And is it feeling loneliness or just craving for attention? What do you think about that?
Well, it depends on the parameter for which the person is actually talking. All right. If the men actually, like Yoruba will say that women carry the baby in their womb and men carry it in their mind, which is actually true, owing to the fact that I've seen a lot of men on how they feel when their wife are pregnant and when they put to bed. And you hear a lot of them talk about the delivery, the pain their wife was going through, that if the way they were looking at the wife, even then they couldn't bear it. If they had the opportunity, they'd like to swap roles with their wife. All right. So I've even had a situation where a man fainted when the wife was delivering, and when he saw the head of the baby came out, he just fainted. So the nurses just told the wife that the man excused himself and he will be back. So it was after the whole delivery process they had to resuscitate him. So of course, men actually have their emotions in line too when their wife put to bed. Especially, women, we are talking being, and we say how we feel. And a lot of men have learned to bottle up their emotions, and that they come up strong, they show up strong every time. That is actually what is expected of every man, every masculine man, like they will say now. So end up not saying much about how they feel. But for some men who are actually family oriented, they might actually feel left out. It's not all men that always feel left out. Some men, they have friends that they move with, and they might not even be around when all of these things, taking care of the baby and all of those. I've seen men come home and like, where is my food? Despite the fact that the wife just put to bed and all of those things, and we just go to the mother or the mother-in-law, where is my food? We eat and leave as if nothing happened. I don't know whether that is also as a result of their emotional whatever, but I've seen men do that. So I want to believe that it's not all men that feel left out when their wife just put to bed. As a matter of fact, I know some men that as their wife is eating, they are eating too. Maybe the attention is probably what some of them are craving for, or the shy ones that cannot practically eat from their wives' pepper soup and all of those things. Maybe those ones. But for those very bold ones, they eat whatever you give their wife. In fact, some of them will even tell you, we both put to bed. I was there when you are pushing. So while you are pushing, I was pushing in my mind too. Stuff like that. But some men say that they are being left out. I think at that point, you're actually not being left out. They're actually catering for the person that needs it the most. And you, a whole able man, actually don't need it that much. Because your wife has actually gone through a lot. Physical, emotional distress and physical distress. Because while a woman is about to put to bed, there are a lot of emotions that runs in her. She goes through a lot of emotions, and there are a lot of things that are going through her mind. This delivery, am I going to make it alive? Is the child going to be all right? Is my life going to be as it used to be? A lot of things goes through a woman's mind. So as at that time, you are not the one that needs the attention the most. It is the person that just birthed a new life that needs the attention the most. The best you can do at that time is to be of great support. And we will not dismiss the fact that sometimes you are being left out. It's not intentional. It's because at that time, you really don't need the attention as much as the person that just put to bed needs the attention. So if you actually need attention, I think you should wait till the period of new deliveries pan out. And I can assure you, your wife will turn the attention back to you, especially when you consciously tell her. I can remember when I put to bed of my first child, and I think after 3 months thereabout, my husband was jealous of the boy. Let me just use the word jealous in quotes, loosely. He said that I was no longer giving him attention. The talk we used to have, I no longer have that time. All the attention was poured into the baby. And he was smart enough not to tell me directly because he does not know how to say it to me. He went to someone who is older and expressed his feeling. And the person called me and told me, your child is a thing of joy, and that's a good thing. But while you are caring for your child, your husband is still your husband. Your child will grow up and leave you, you'll be left with your husband. And even if your child, even as your child grows up, you still need your husband, because your child will stop being a baby to becoming a boy, then a teenager and a man, and you will still need your husband. So don't lose him at this time. That most of new mothers, this is the period they lose their husband because they deprive him of the attention they need, which is valid, very valid. This one is not the matter of they are putting the attention on someone who just put to bed. This is the attention of, it's been 3 months and it's as if I'm a stranger in my own family. All right. So it was valid and it was attended to. So, but when you are saying that when a woman just put to bed, you should be given same attention as your wife, I don't know what part of the process of delivery, aside from the emotional trauma in quotes that they say they have, aside from that they go through, what other form of delivery pain do they go through? All right. So
All right.
sometimes one needs to be sensitive when it comes to this matter. I rest here. Thank you.
But Tayo, I want you to understand that as much as the woman is getting used to the new changes that's happening to the family, because the baby is an addition. So everything needs to change. The way you have time for your husband, now that time needs to be divided. Is it not high time the men started understanding that there's an addition, there's something that is going to take your time and continue to live within that new addition and adapt to the new lifestyle? They don't expect it to remain as it used to be. Why can't they, don't let me use the word man up, but understand the situation and live by it?
Well, there is a new addition, which is a great news, and is actually a great thing that there is a new addition. It shows that the family is growing, and it shows that the family is actually productive. All right. So now, as much as it is understandable that you will no longer have that much time, as much as you should understand that your time now has to be divided. Now, if we are talking that the man should understand, he will understand in that, in that you are giving him time, but that's big time you used to have. Probably you spend 6 hours just chit chatting at night. You keep talking through the night, and you sleep late. You wake up when it was just two of you, and you wake up very early in the morning. You continue from where you drop off, and all of those things. Now, when you will understand now that you have to sleep early. Why? Because you've been working through the day, even with the baby. And when you wake up, as much as you want to have a conversation with you also have to attend to the new addition. So that is where the understanding comes in. It's not about you shutting him out entirely. Sometimes we women, we shut our husband out. And even men too, they make a mistake of this, especially men that has girl children. That is why some women now, they are jealous of their daughters, because their daughter has taken the love the man used to show them. Some men too, they are actually at fault of this. They pour all of the love, all of the attention on their daughters. All right. Even some of them, their sons, they will take the son out to go and play football, everything, blah blah blah. They leave the woman at home to do everything. And once they enter inside, the first thing they say is that, where is my food? Not minding that this woman has been at home doing every other thing. So it is actually, as much as it is for women, it is also the same for men. But plenty of the times it is actually so, especially for newborn mothers. They tend to pour their love, attention. In fact, when they are talking to their husband on a norm, maybe before they will discuss the husband's business, discuss how work was, but now they no longer discuss their husband. They just focus their attention on
Yes,
the baby completely. So much so that they forget that the man actually exists. In fact, if they want to talk to the man about anything, they talk to him about the baby. So few times we have to consciously, even as women, understand that as much as there is an addition, we also have to create time for the men, because they too, they are human beings with emotion, and they need attention too. As much as we crave attention, they also crave attention. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I can't Rosenday. How you doing?
Ẹ mà kú àtàárọ̀ kẹ.
So the men, they said they want to wear skirts now. They want to eat pepper soup. Is that it?
I'm talking. What did you say?
I said the men want to wear skirts now and they want to eat pepper soup.
Nobody is saying men want to wear skirt and eat pepper.
You know, I want to pull your legs.
Ẹ má kọ̀rọ̀ sí wa lẹ́nu. That's not what we are.
That's been good because he's already putting up its defenses.
Yes.
So they said when a baby is born, that all the attention is given to the mothers, and we neglect the daddy's guilt, we neglect the emotions of the man, the pain, the emotional pain the man is going through, and nobody cares about the man's mental state. So now, and this is topic that we hardly talk about, that men too have their mental struggles with a newborn baby. So in this conversation, we want to talk about, as much as we are celebrating mothers, we should not forget fathers. Is that it?
I mean, yeah. Sorry, please go ahead. Go ahead.
So now said this person, according to the video watch, said nobody asked about the father. Who is expected to ask about the father? How is he doing? Is it the new mom or the family members?
So thank you very much, Ulutu. It was a very, very important question that you asked. But first and foremost, I want to start by saying that for fear of being cancelled, I want to say that I want to add this disclaimer that to me, okay, let me answer your question. I will infuse my thoughts in it as I'm answering your question. I personally, I know that over the years, it has been the job of a father in the family have always been a thankless job, in the sense that once you do something, you're not at the receiving end. Nobody sees the father, basically. That's the point that I'm making. And I'm not saying seeing physically, but it has gotten to the point that we've seen the job of the father as, oh, why will he expect any thanks for it? It's his job, right? So that's the thing. Now, going back to the question that you asked about childbirth and all of that, um, I love how women always put to the forefront their perspective when it comes to pregnancy and childbirth, right? Of course, it is a huge burden to carry, to host another human being in your belly for 9 months. And hosting the person in your belly mean that your chemical um, uh, composition becomes imbalanced, because everything would happen. It was during my son's pregnancy time that I know that a baby that would have ears, like that, so much ear, the mother will have heartburn. I'm like, well, I don't know the correlation between here and heartburn. So the point that I'm making is, it's a hard job to do. Nobody is disputing that fact. But just as I said that women do a good job of putting forward their experience, men don't do much with putting forward their experience. But the thing is, men do experience some things as well. Now, again, another disclaimer. I am not saying the experience of the men is the same thing as the experience of the women. I'm not saying that the emotions that men feel cancels out the physical imbalance that women feel. I'm only saying that men feel something as well. From the fear of, oh, how do I take care of this woman? When the woman is vomiting, sometimes when there is complications in pregnancy, whether it's a pregnancy that leads to high blood pressure and all of that. I don't want to start talking about personal things here, right? But it affects men as well. And then also to going back to cravings and women saying, I want to eat the kidney of a lion. And then the men would have to go and find all of that, right? One thing we need to understand is it is not something that men plan for, right? And of course, we women, we know that, and I'm sorry for using this word, the demands become irrational in pregnancy. Maybe
Maybe you should carry the pregnancy.
you see the
Again.
mutis or delay things, so maybe you should carry the pregnancy. Why? What? And I gave the disclaimer beforehand. Even with my disclaimer, you're already putting up a defense. Maybe I should carry. I'm not saying I want to carry the pregnancy, and I appreciate you for carrying the pregnancy. But while you're speaking about your experience, me speaking about my experience should not be a taboo. It should not be something that I should be shut up. Like, oh, don't speak
But
about
you
it.
are saying we are irrational with our questions. It's because of our hormones. Now it's not our fault too.
I'm not
When we are
again.
not pregnant, we don't ask things like that. It was beyond us.
Olotu, you see, the topic of this conversation should actually be, Why is it that women always want to give counter when men talk about their experience? And that is what you're exhibiting in this call. Just because
you threw jab at us.
I'm not throwing a jab. It is a
You
fact.
said we're irrational. You started it.
Enisuru. Men are logical beings. Women are emotional beings. But we've had cases of women saying, it is I'm smelling the jollof rice of our neighbor. It is the jollof rice of our neighbor that I want to eat. Is that rational? Let's be truthful now.
Let me tell you something. When I was pregnant, the perfume that my husband uses that was okay before I became pregnant, I told him never to use it. You don't put myself into you don't put me into consideration before you spray yourself.
It became and the one thing is in talking about the experience of the women, right? Of the men, most of the time, what sorry, I'm feeding my chairman. So what men feel most times is guilt. They are well, a minimal cause here. I'm the one at fault. You understand? So when men already feels that, the women also continue to pile it up on the men. Is that not something emotionally draining for men? It is. So when men talk about it, we are not talking about it to trivialize what women feel. We are talking about it so that we want to let it out as well. We don't want to pile it up, because it affects men as much as it affects women as well. And of course, in our society, we live in a society where they say you are a man, be a man. I get that. We want to be a man, but that doesn't mean that our heart is stone. We feel something too. So we should be able to say it. Not that we need someone to say sorry to us. No, we're not saying that we need pampering. We're not saying we need someone to give us pepper soup. No, but to surface what we feel as well. That is what we are saying. And I always say that there's one other part of things that men feel. And again, maybe I should just stop because that's the question that you asked. Let me stop. Maybe in the subsequent questions, I'll be able to speak more about some other things. But to answer the question that you asked, right? It is not so much about saying we want to put men on the same pedestals as women. We are only saying that let us acknowledge what. So here's the point. There's I've noticed, and I do this as well until I started making a mental adjustment to that. When a woman just gives birth, and then you're talking to your friends about it. Can I turn the plate? Yeah, take it to the kitchen. Thank you. Good. All right. So when you're talking to your friends about the thing, the next thing you will say is, how is the baby? And then, how is the mom? And that is the end of it. Nobody asks, how is the man? But is the man not part of the people whose life has changed? You understand what I'm saying? We want to know about the baby's well-being. We want to know about the mother's well-being. And that is the end of it. I get it. It is the mother that went through life and death moment. But man will know, although he didn't go through life and death moment, his life has changed in the sense that this is another mouth that I have to feed. This is another anxiety for me. Before a man gets married, his thought is, oh, I can do whatever it is that I want to do with my life, right? It's just me. I don't answer to no one. Immediately the man gets married, his brain is going to adjust to, okay, now I mean, okay, let me give a disclaimer. A sensible man, let me put it that way. Once you get married, your thought starts thinking, okay, now I have another person that I need to be mindful of, right? So you have a wife, and you know that your decision affects the wife as much as it affects you, right? But that is not even something that is scary, honestly, because a wife is old enough to take care of herself, right? It's not as scary as when you now have a child. because the pressure of, if this child needs something tomorrow, the child doesn't care whether I have it or not. It has to be provided. You understand? And nobody prepares you for that until you hear that cry of that baby. Even during pregnancy, you're not thinking about it until you hear the cry, until you carry the baby in your hand and a little creature look at you, and what you're seeing in his eyes is, okay, this is someone that will protect me. You see, that is when it gets done on you. Oh, in country shame motivate blockos me motivate come by in sin. You understand? And if you look at those little again, for lack of better word, little minions, it is babies or toddlers that you see that they deliberately look for things to harm themselves. You see, having to think about that is mentally draining for men, but men has to show up. Let me stop there, because there's so many other things that men would where the society require men to show up for. You
The
understand?
way you're not expressing and make me so emotional, like I'm not feeling your point. I'm not feeling for you
The
guys.
problem is we women don't let us get past the pregnancy. You always want to shut us up. Were you the one that carried the baby for 9 months? Yes, we are not. I was telling my wife some times ago that the closest pain I can imagine is when someone kicked me in my blockhouse. As a man, to me, that is probably the closest avoidable pain. But guess what? A woman that's going through 9 months of pregnancy, immediately they see the baby. Maybe a year, 2 years later, the woman is talking about, let's have another baby. But if you hit me in the blockhouse, after the thing has gone down, I won't say, oh, let's do it again. Hit me again. It's not possible. So I understand how much pain it is, but I don't want to go through it again. But women still want to go through it again. But when we are now talking about, okay, this is how you feel, we acknowledge it, but this is how we feel. The next thing you say, are you the one that carried the baby for pregnancy? And it is still the same you that will say, let's do the pregnancy again. And I'll be like, no, let's not do it again, because I feel, I can imagine what you feel. Let me stop there. Now, calm down now.
All this hello you. I'm thinking you better. Welcome, Olumide. I know I just brought you up, like without, prior notice, but I know you have one or two things to say to this topic.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So now, before you go ahead, let me just lead you, then you can move on to your topic. Do you think the society or even the hospital, they don't involve the fathers during delivery, childbirth, and they always treat the father like a visitor instead of making him like more like a participant on that delivery?
Okay. Yeah, from experience, I've seen that usually men are not included in that in the whole ordeal. Men are not included at all. In fact, all through my time at the teaching hospital, I've seen that I don't think I've seen a husband with the wife before during delivery. Throughout the time I spent, in fact, if they're going to request for somebody, they will request for the wife, the mother's mother or sister or something, a female. They would never request for a man, and yeah, so that's it. They don't, and I think that it is robbing men of the privilege of seeing their offspring come to life, honestly, and I think that it is not good enough, because it's a defining moment for men, really, when of course the goals of men is actually to for, let me say, a rational man, a reasonable man, is that is towards the family. And so if there is an inclusion to the family, I think it should be part of it. In fact, because it's going to be the one to bear um the repercussions, so to speak, in quotes now. It's the one that will be. So I think that it should be part and parcel of the whole this thing. In fact, even to us to act as a doula, to act as a support for the wife during the childbirth and all of that. But it doesn't happen here in Nigeria, and it is sad. But one of the things I've also noticed really is how that men are usually sidelined during the whole process of childbirth and delivery, like Mr. Babatunde mentioned earlier. Up to the time of delivery, the men do most of the running around, cooking, cleaning, caring for the elder siblings, and all of that. Mostly that's what happens. They do all of that while thinking money for the delivery. If they have been told it's going to be CS, they're thinking how am I going to make up or cook up the money for the CS and the life after that. They are going through all those emotional trauma. They are going through all of that up to the time of delivery. And even during that time, especially if you're in government hospital, what you're doing most of that time is running around. Days prior and even days after, you're doing running around. Go and get this. We need ceftriaxone. We need this thing. Go and get it. If not paid for this thing, we need to do this test. We need to do this test. Quick. Go and do it. No. Without putting in consideration whether there is money in the man's pocket or not. There was a particular situation that happened one time like that. There was a man that came at the middle of the night, around 11, 12, thereabouts. He did not have any money on him. Of course, what this thing was doing, there was nobody with them. It was only the man and the woman. In fact, it was a neighbor that brought them. And they were like, we need money for this, we need money for this. That man had nothing with him. I imagine what he's going through at that moment when he had no support. And if per adventure the next morning people come around, nobody talks to him at all. It is to the wife, how are you? How are you doing? Of course, like it has been mentioned earlier, the women went through the life and death situation. They went through the whole ordeal. They went through the pain, the strain emotionally and physically, which of course we all appreciate. An Oriental man will appreciate that. We all appreciate that. But that it is a man's duty to provide and to support at that moment does not mean that their efforts should not be mentioned or accounted for or appreciated verbally. Yes, verbally, actually. A lot of people, most women do it. They just have it in their mind. Maybe when they are talking in their women caucus, they'll be like, my man was so good. He was there for me. He cooked for me. He supported me all through. But they don't mention it to the man himself. And I feel like it's the man himself that needs to hear that he's being appreciated. So that doesn't happen a lot. And I think it's a cause for concern. And that man that got counseled, or the man that I think I saw it on social media when he mentioned it, and there was a lot of backlash. Like Mr. Babatunde said, nobody wants to go beyond that physical trauma. Most women don't want to go beyond that physical trauma of childbirth, because it's not only on the man, it's on the woman, it's on the man, it's on everything. His life changes. It's a life-changing encounter basically for the man. So I think it should be regarded as such too.
Thank you. Oh, I thought you ended.
Yeah, I'm done.
Are you talking?
I'm done.
Okay, good. Thank you. So Tayo, so that I don't know. I know this topic is mostly for the men, but we have to put one or two more too.
I think that one of the things that Brother Tunde spoke about, Mr. Tunde spoke about, was that when their wife is pregnant and they are thinking irrationally, well, I think it's a bit insensitive saying that, because sometimes if you know how embarrassed even the woman feels at some of the things that she's craving for, you will not think twice before you get it for her. It's actually a craving. It's called craving for a reason. It's something that you might likely not, you actually don't have, how do I say it? You don't have, you don't expect it to happen, but it is happening. I've seen women that they crave gutter, to smell gutter. Do you know how embarrassing that can be? But she just wants to smell gutter. I can remember one time that I cooked chicken in my house. I actually cooked chicken in my house, and after cooking, my husband said I should come and eat. I said I don't want to eat that. I don't feel like eating. And truly, I don't feel like eating it anymore, because it's actually, it kind of irritated me after I finished cooking. But not quite long, not up to 30 minutes after that, my neighbor was cooking chicken. And I went to my neighbor, because she's actually my friend. and told her that she should please give me chicken, my husband was infuriated. That, what do you mean? The chicken you cook is still in the pot. It's still hot. It's not even cold yet. You were the one that said that you were not eating. Now and I told him point blank, I don't want to eat the one I cooked. I want to eat the one my neighbor cooked. Normally, my person, I will practically not even ask my neighbor for something like that. But that was how I feel at that time. I had a neighbor that she will be begging me that I should make sure that my rice get burnt. That is that burnt side of the rice she's craving for. So it's a whole lot for a woman.
They don't understand. They cannot understand that.
They will not understand because you are not carrying the pregnancy. But the truth is that we are not, how would I say it? We are not negating the fact that you have your own emotional burdens. And women know that for sure. That you have your own emotional burden, but much more than you have your own emotional burdens. We do. We have our emotional burdens. We have our fears. Am I going to be mother enough? Am I going to be alive to take care of my child? Am I going to train this child right? Is the father going to do right by this child? Hope I did not make mistake having this husband. Am I a good mother at all? We have our fears. So I am having my fears. I will also be thinking about your fears. It's not possible. Konika Lukugbe fear. And the truth is that at childbirth, even women feel neglected. In case you don't know.
Let me rest.
Because half of the people that comes to greet you, they are greeting you and asking about the baby. They're asking about the baby. They're not even asking about the mother. So, after her, how was the delivery? That's the end. Every attention is on the baby. Even the new mom feels neglected. But she will not tell you because she understands that you are going through yours. So I'm not negating the fact that men's feelings should be considered, but the truth is that women go through a whole lot.
And Tayo, let me respond to what you said. No. I love the fact that we're talking about this because talking about it is the first step, right? And then it's hopefully going to lead to something. So let me start from the point that you raised about me talking about irrational demands that you said is insensitive. Me saying that it is irrational demand does not mean that we are castigating or judging the women for asking. Again, see, I think I've said it on this forum before that, you see, when it comes to men and women, if you're talking on one side and not balancing it on the other side, you're already making a mistake, right? So, and that was why I led with what I said, that women are emotional beings, men are logical beings. And this topic is about how men feel. You see, when you cook that chicken, and then you say you're not eating anymore, but then your neighbor started cooking, and they say, you know what, I want to eat my neighbor's chicken. As much as you said it is embarrassing for women, it is embarrassing for the man as well. And at that moment, the reason why your husband was angry was because that demand was irrational. See, let's not be hung up on the word irrational as a negative thing. Let's unpack the meaning of irrational. There's no rationality that would say you cook chicken, you abandon your own chicken, but you want to eat your neighbor's chicken. That is probably not as sweet as the one that you cook.
Is it our fault or the baby that you put there?
Oh my God, dude. If that man she mistake, you. I am not saying it is your fault. No man is going to now start saying it is my wife's fault, because, and that was, again, everything that I'm saying, I've said it before. I said the feeling of the man at that time is guilt, because as he's getting angry, you'll be saying that, well, my wife will not be doing this if I did not impregnate her. So in the mind of the man, he had already dealt with himself that Didn't I say that? I said it. But still, it doesn't remove the fact that that demand is irrational at that time. But we are only saying that this is how it affects us. See, everything that I'm saying now, I've said it again. The reason why I'm saying it again is because immediately your response is still also about women feel the emotions, women feel the pain. My sisters and aunties and mothers, we are not comparing pain here. You see, one thing that I've learned about Nigerians is we love to compare, and I'm sorry for using this word, we love to compare hardship. It is only in Nigeria that someone will go to someone and be explaining that, can you imagine? The next thing you hear is, that's the problem we have in Nigeria. See, this is not about comparing notes on emotional distress. No, this is about surfacing our own feeling too. And I've said it also that surfacing our own feeling, don't start fighting us because we are not surfacing it rather to discard what you felt. And Titayo, you mentioned that women also feel neglected because the concentration of the whatever is focused on the baby. Agreed. That is your truth. I'm not disputing that. Boshama lo baby bija, no ali lo baby bija. So as you are the recipient, but if there's one point that I'm going to make is we are not enemies. We are not saying this to let you know that what you're doing is not huge. It is a huge task.
I think what you're saying is you just want your own voice also to be heard.
Without fear of cancellation.
Yes. Okay, now talking about during, our culture says like most of the time they want man to be a man, like you have to man up. Men don't cry, men don't show emotions. So do you think it's a double standard where we allow women to heal emotionally, but tell men to just be a man?
Of course it is. It is. But the problem is men still have the burden of showing strength to every other person. Even in being, like they say, men, it's not bad for men to cry. But the truth is, when men cry, it messes up a whole lot of things than for when. So let me give you an example. And again, it's not related. If a tragedy happened, right? If you see men cry, everybody becomes devastated. So that's why men always say that, oh, I have to be strong for who? When men say I want to be strong, who do they say for?
For the family, for my wife, for my children.
They will say, let me be strong for my wife, because of the fact that as every other person draws from his strength. No woman would ever say, let me be strong for my family. You understand what I'm saying? Because
we used to say it, let me be strong for my family. In fact, that's our own national anthem. I want to be strong for my family.
when,
Against the fact that we are crying, but then we still say that we want to be strong for our family.
Doctor, I started with when it's tragedy. Except, of course, see, the only time women take up that responsibility of being strong is if the tragedy is to the man. So I'm not talking about being strong generally. I'm talking about a specific event. So if anything happens, the man will always say, let me be strong. But while everybody is there, he needs to be, because it's the first point of call. I mean, again, personal issues. But around the time when my mom first died, right? I always notice it that when we're together and something happened, it becomes a chain reaction of crying. Immediately we see my daddy crying. You understand? Because of the fact that he is the one that we look up to draw strength from. Now, when the person that you've drawn you are drawing strength from breaks down. Where is the strength to draw? There's no strength anymore. So now, to answer your question, it is a double standard to not to expect men to be men, but at the same time, like I said, it is a pressure on the man to show up with that strength. So that's why it is kind of hard to separate the nuance between let men cry, let men not cry. It is the job that we've taken upon ourselves. We cannot run away from it.
You guys should
However,
be crying. You guys should be crying. You want to cry.
the fact that it is a job that we take upon ourselves does not now mean that we should be sidelined, like nobody see us. That's the point.
Thank you. So, we've had you. Allah was telling you. I not pity all of you now. But it's when you compare that get me mad. You know, it's only when you compare that I have problem with it. But if you have your own, then you own it. Then we feel sorry for you guys. So now, Dr. Olumide, let me ask you.
Okay.
Should us, sir? Dr. Olumide?
I can hear you. I'm with you.
Okay. Should hospital or maternal care also have support system for men? You know, mental health support for men too.
Mental
You
health
know, when
support
they
for men.
during antenatal care, like let me just buttress during antenatal care, the women go to the hospital, they tell them what they expected from the new baby, you know, how their life is going to change about the new baby, you know, they prepare their mind ahead of the delivery of the baby. Should there be also a gathering for men to prepare men also mentally for what is expected of them after childbirth or during childbirth?
Well, talking about mental health is a very delicate issue. Talking about mental health and talking about men, because sometimes women mostly see it as apologies. We don't really see mental health as something that befalls a man, due to the same reason that we've been talking about, trying to be strong and all of that. Because it would be very difficult to see a man sulking and being broken down. So it's a difficult thing, and mostly because of men's ego, you might not really see patronage on that aspect because of the way man's ego and the way man's physiology is built. You might not see patronage on that matter, especially with childbirth. And most men don't actually are not bad enough to require it. I don't know if that makes sense. Their mental health is not bad enough to require that this thing. What we are clamoring for is just to be seen, and that's just it, just to be seen. We would I believe so strongly that men will go through the hardest hurdles if just their women, their wives, will just acknowledge it. I and it's just a basal woman a human this thing. Men will go through the hardest hurdles just if they are not any woman though, not just their own woman. If their own woman would acknowledge what they are doing for their house, men will go through anything. So it is not a matter of the decision that we need is from the women. If they would agree to it, that okay, you guys are doing fine, you are doing well, you are assisting and all of that. We are not. This is not a. We are not trying to. Should I say, fight for who is going through the most trouble or most strain. We are just saying that we also should just be acknowledged. We will go through anything. It's just our women. We just give us that thumbs up. In fact, it might not even come with words. Just say,
Pepper soup.
yeah. So it might not even be in words. I think that's just it. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
So if they just give you pepper soup, all this story weird, right?
What did you say?
If they give you pepper soup, do you know the pepper soup they are giving the mother during childbirth? If they give
No,
you
we
small
don't want
pepper
all of
soup,
that. In fact, we would sacrifice 3 days food just to see the wife doing okay. But that's if she will acknowledge that okay, you two
Word,
have not eaten.
word,
We know
word.
that you have not eaten, but we'll give you the food. And that's just it.
you should have only do yeah. But today, okay, now this question to Olumide, do you think like as much as we have women who have postpartum depression, men also have postpartum depression.
Well, not enough to be documented. I think it is negligible in statistics. I'm not aware of. It's not a big thing. Of course, I'm not in psychiatry, but I've not really seen a lot of men come down with postpartum depression or anything about running away or trying to avoid avoid people or anything. I've not seen it, but so it's not a it's not a. I don't think it's required.
Thank you. I don't know why.
The meeting, nothing can give up. Oh. The path that I'm towing is a dangerous.
It's a dangerous one.
So to tell you, we really understand what you guys are going through. We are trying so much to tell you. So my next question, Tayo. So the men complain that being ignored during childbirth are they just seeking attention, or is fear? Are they just do they just want to be seen? Like they're saying, we want to be seen, we want to be heard. Do you think they're just jealous of that attention?
Well, I don't think. Well, is that jealousy? I don't think it's jealousy. Owing to the fact that in the first place, okay, let's even take it from the fact that the baby that is about to be born is actually produced by their sperm. So at least they should be recognized for the fact that their sperm has actually grown up to become a full flesh and is about to come out. Well, I think that what they are clamoring for is to be seen. All right. I'm not. Let me be clear. I'm not sure they are clamoring for the attention that the mother is getting. They just want to be seen, at least to be considered and to be asked how they are doing. And for the issue of men mental health about for childbirth, when a child is born, men should come and be. You will not see any man. I won't lie to you. You will not see. Because I can remember that when I was pregnant and I went for antenatal, I was told to call. It was our firstborn, and the doctor, I think he's always taking the liberty to explain some few changes in the mother and what the husband should expect. I remember telling my husband that the doctor will want to see you. He was asking me why. I'm not the one carrying the pregnancy now. Why? I said, no, he just want to prep you, so you just want to prep you emotionally so that you will know what to expect. You say, what is coming that he cannot carry? I think that is an average man's position when it comes to trying to talk to their emotions, because they feel that they're actually in charge, even though sometimes they might not, but they assume that they are. So when you say that, like the doctor said, that adventure will not sell, I agree, it will not sell. But then I don't want to believe that they are actually craving for that kind of attention we are trying to think. I think they just want to be seen and to be told that you are doing greatly. All right. And I think that every woman, though plenty of the times we don't get to say this to them, I think every woman has the ability to strengthen her husband work up, like inflating their ego just by telling him that I see you are doing greatly, thank you very much, or asking how are you feeling, this new baby, how are you feeling? I think they deserve to hear that part of it too. I don't think, according to them, I don't think they're asking for too much. I just think they're just asking to be seen and also to be appreciated in their own right. If they are trying to say that they are competing the space with a woman, I think that is where I would have to come with a lot of gloves and all of those things. But I don't think that is what they are craving for. And I don't think what they are asking for is too much. I don't think so. And I'm sure they are not really asking for this thing from outsiders. They're actually asking it from their wife. So that is why, even as wife, once in a while, it is okay for us to ask them How are you feeling? And if you can, tell them the next time school fees you pay it so that they can rest. All right, that is actually a joke, but if you can actually do that, you can do that just to, because all of those things I've come to realize it stresses the men up. All right, it stresses them up a lot. Sometimes you just paying that bill for them is not that they can't afford it, but at least you kind of remove burden, from them. As much as they can pay for it, they feel relieved that you decide to help them. I'm not saying you should start doing it every time, because some men can actually be very lackadaisical. Once you decide to help, they might just take allow for allowance. So sometimes you also have to know the kind of man you get married to before you decide to go for some certain help. And it is okay to also take your husband out and just lavish him with gifts once in a while, so that the man will know that truly he's being appreciated and he's actually loved in his own kingdom, because he's actually a king in his own kingdom, and he deserves that his wife crowns him every time.
Uh-huh.
So I think that is
Aww.
that's what I have to
So
say
now,
about that.
no, Ty, I still need to ask you this. How do you think we can make both men and women be seen and supported in the journey of childbirth? So how do you think both the man and the woman, now remember that the woman is shouldering the new baby. He has a lot of people in the house, siblings are around, families are around, friends are around to support. It is still this woman at the center of everything, because she was thinking of what the new neighbor, the friends and family who have come around. Now she's also thinking of how his husband is feeling now at the same time. She's thinking of how is the baby going to survive. She has a lot to shoulder. So how do we make sure that nobody's overwhelmed? Now it's looking like, as much as the woman has a lot of emotions and physical pain, the man has emotional pain. And now with the woman shouldering the man's emotions, and how do we balance it that nobody's going to be overwhelmed at the end of the day?
Well, when the families are around, they are actually there for you, for the mother, and most especially the baby, but also for the mother, because it's the people that are around, except for wicked family members that will come and will want to be a burden on the wife. So every time they come to take care of the baby and also take care of you every time. When I had my first and second children, I was happy. My aunties, my sister, my mom, everyone is around, and they are just doing everything. I did not carry anything. I did not do anything. So they are basically around for you, wash your clothes, get the house cleaned, and all. And even at that time, the person that is also taking most of the responsibility is the husband. But
Let Jackpot.
yeah, notice it's because he actually have to provide for their care, the food they will eat, their well-being. He will have to provide for all of these things. So when families are around, is actually to look after the baby and the mother. So it is safe for the woman to ask him, how are you doing at this time? You might not be able to have anything to contribute to the man in terms of what he's spending and everything, but the thing you can actually contribute is kind words. Oh, well done, my husband. You are doing greatly. I appreciate you taking care of the family. I appreciate the money you are spending. Far is the money. Ask about his job. Ask how he's doing. All this asking will not take up to 10-15 minutes. That's the thing. And the man does not, I'm not sure the man actually needs much. Just knowing that you understand the things that you understand what he's going through and the things he's doing, I think is enough for a man. Except for, for a responsible man. All right. So I think just creating a little time to check out on them will not be too difficult. And a man should also know that when a woman gives birth, all our emotions at that time is focused on the baby. And as much as you want to be checked on, it is also important you check on your wife. Don't just assume that she's fine. Don't ask surface questions. Women can, like Mr. Sunday said, that women are emotional. We are very emotional. Everything we do is deeply rooted in our emotions. So when you just ask how are you doing and she tells you fine, just take an extra inch to stay by her side, hold her, tell her thank you for giving me this child. Then ask her how are you. You will be shocked that she's actually not feeling fine. She just decided to bottle it up. I was actually having a postpartum depression for about 3 months, and my husband never knew about it. And when I got out of it, and I later told him, he was like, "What does that mean? What does that even mean?" You know. So I initially pick offense, but on the long run, I realized that he doesn't understand why will you give birth and you say that you're having a depression. It's a thing of joy. You should be happy. Something like that. So sometimes when you take time to just ask how we are doing, it goes a long way. Thank you.
Today you're welcome. Oh no, to say, need job go. I like wala.
Yes. Me trouble.
You like to get at me. Okay. Now, how do you balance it?
I want me to advise me we can give up, and I will give up.
You can't give up. It's too late.
I mean,
it's too late.
And Tayo said a whole lot of things, right? I think men also should kind of like do as much as we expect from the women. Again, I don't want to get into the details of what men have been doing before, but it doesn't mean that, now she's giving birth to a baby for you, and then see, the thing about, again, the emotion part and the logical part, right? And that was why your husband really did not understand when you were saying that you went to postpartum depression, is a sensitization for men as well, because just the exact response that he gave you is probably what most men will give to their wife. You just give birth to a baby. It's a thing of joy. We are happy. So why are you depressed? The only other thing is, men ask questions maybe once or twice, and then we take your response for it. Like, oh, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. In our mind, I have asked my wife how she is. My wife has told me she's fine.
And so, brother, say, hey, the real undertone in the conversation, not just what the person is saying, but where the person is coming from in the conversation. We do that a
So
lot for you guys.
there
But
is
you
a
guys don't do it.
there is a saying, and this is not even about men alone. That and I again, mi ò gbọ́n náà ni, kò sígbà tí mi ò ní sọ̀rọ̀ tí ò ní kó bá mi ń bí. But there is a saying that your spouse is not a mind reader. And this is not just for men alone, for men and women alone. And again, maybe I need to deviate from childbirth, and even in daily life, men don't read on that tone. That's the truth. If we ask you questions, help us to help you. Because the best thing we can do is to ask you questions. And if you're asking you questions and you're giving the same response, oh, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong. You understand? In our mind, it becomes a conflict in our brain that she says she's fine, our face is saying something else. We don't know how to just oppose that. It is hard for us. It is, because if you ask me how I am, and it goes both ways as well, right? If my wife asks me what is wrong with me, and I tell her nothing, she finds it hard to believe that there's nothing. But truly, there's nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. It's how God created us. God see alone. He has a very serious sense of humor, because how will he put someone that is emotionally leading with someone that lives his life by logic. Because the logic of the men is, I asked my wife, is she okay? She says she's okay, irrespective of whether Uju. So one of the things I always do with my wife, and we joke about it, is instead of asking her, are you okay? The next thing I'll say, Uju Shekosi. And I will now do like that. This is how your face, this is what I see when I look at you. You understand? So it becomes a joke, kind of like to soften her up a little bit. But it doesn't work all the time. It works some of the time. You now know what? It is after I've asked my wife, how are you doing? Me, okay, come on, we couch in my son. It is after I've asked my wife like 3 times. And she says she's okay, she's okay, she's okay. While the second day, how I will know that something is coming? You call me. Baba T, let's talk. You see that let's talk? You understand? And the way we start is, what did you notice about me yesterday? My man, you noticed about what? But I asked you, are you okay? You said you're okay. Now I'm supposed to notice something. That you're not feeling okay. You're not saying, one notice. I'm the one to bring it forward and say, let's talk about this phantom thing that I do not know. So the problem is not that men do not ask. The problem is you expect men to keep asking, keep asking, keep asking, keep asking, keep asking till you are ready. And that ready is still based on you, not the men asking.
Whatever you get, what you call nagging for women, is not nagging. It's the tone of feeling unheard.
I'm not even talking about nagging here. Ulutu,
No, I'm to bustle call me, Jerry. Like
that word nagging is a serious word that men always try to avoid. You make mistake, say your wife is nagging. So what I'm saying is honestly, that's on a lighter note. The point, we want to ask you how you feel, but the limit to how much you can ask something and you're not getting the response. It becomes scary to keep asking the same thing over and over again and not getting the response, because at the end of the day, you will not say anything until you're ready to say. It's not the men asking that will make you talk. That's what I've discovered in my short.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because we don't want to be talking one by one so that you don't see us like you talk too much. So we'll keep it. Again, we'll put that one aside. You do another thing, we help you keep it aside. You do another thing, we help you keep it. So whenever they say, I felt sorrow, then the 3 things will place it where they different.
I might be layering it on top of each other, right?
We don't want to spend around in the court of law.
I pray for all the men. I get, no, give up. Give up. But the thing, the other thing to it, honestly,
Sincerely, we heard you. Sincerely, we are hearing you unsaid word.
The good thing about all this is it shows that we all married the same woman, and you all married the same man. What I mean by that is,
I get what you mean.
It's universal. So no man should feel like, why is my wife doing this to me? Knowing fully well that Auntie Tayo is doing it to her husband as well. So it's a good thing. Happy.
When I pity my husband most was when I was sick this year and I was in the hospital for a month. And he keeps shuttling work, picking the kids from school, preparing them for school, and coming to see me in the hospital. So imagine in that month, I pity that man. Doing a lot of things at the same time. He doesn't want to leave me alone by myself in the hospital. So you need to go home in the morning as early as possible to prepare the kids and come back in the night, in the evening to pick the kids and come back and still go to work. It's a lot of things for him, and I can imagine what he was going through in his head. Kí mo kúra mi sí torí Ọlọ́run, kí mo fẹ́ yàwó gan fún. Kí máa dáṣayé mi gan, ṣé gbogbo wàhálà yóò wà ní kò ní sí bẹ́ẹ̀.
a good thing that you, woman, you're the one saying that, so I won't have to say it. Like most men. Let me chip into one other thing. Since we're talking about this, and I'm speaking for myself and hopefully on behalf of all the men, we feel like you women conjure up issues just to have a fight to spice up the marriage. Hello to Tigompao. And Tayo Shilo Tony.
It's not true. It's not true.
It feels
It's
like
not
that.
true.
No, it feels
The
like
thing is that
I said it feels like sometimes things get boring for you and you feel like, oh, let me fight, let me just fight this man so that will be you agree, Abi? So Auntie Tayo, your response is discarded now. Because that's exactly.
And it's just for the fun for me. It's just fun for me.
So we are vindicated, Uluwashem. Now I know.
All I say 2 weeks, I might take a argue the lorry. Madewa. Argue.
And Tayo Kokofe Biwani Lamba.
I don't do that. I don't do that actually.
Yeah.
I don't even have to do that. There is always something that will bring arguments almost every time. Almost every time.
So is it not the same thing?
I'm
Like
not the one bringing
you don't look at what you're arguing over.
I'll now be looking for. No, I don't do that actually.
But do you know that men try to avoid argument with their
Yes. Yes.
We fight.
My husband doesn't like it. Oh my mom frustrated.
It is frustrating. That's the truth.
No, for example, VDM sin àti billboard tó ń jà lọ́wọ́ ń sìn. Mo lè wà lọ́dọ̀ billboard kó wà lọ́dọ̀ VDM. Kíkọ́ ní rárá VDM ló gbà.
And you be like, are you not enjoying how this Saturday is going? Why do you have to? I mean,
so it's not a serious thing. But mo kàn máa dá argument lẹ́sà.
Ẹ jẹ́ ń gbẹ́nu dákẹ́ because nǹkan mo fẹ́ kọ́ lè kó bá mi lórí social media.
So kì í ṣe nǹkan tó máa jẹ́ something to heart. Mo kàn lè ní a ò ṣe gbé kọ́ọ̀pù síbi ibi lè kó wà ibi ni. A dẹ̀ lè sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn fún 30 minutes kẹ́mi gbogbo àjọ gbóná díẹ̀ ká tẹ̀ tó padà sí normal. Àbí at least mo get attention for that period. Tí bá dá argument lé àní ọ̀rọ̀ sọ àní ní time yẹn.
No, we're not saying that. I mean, we're not saying that there won't be time for argument, honestly. But what I always say is to show a little bit of grace to us, honestly. That, I mean, if I would ask for anything, I'm not saying you shouldn't be angry about some things that I do. You are very right to be angry. So the two things that I always say is the fact that you say something yesterday and I apologize truly does not mean that I have gone from 0 to 100, meaning I won't do it again. I will still do it again. And the second thing is try and show a little bit of grace. Just a little bit of grace. That's all. Women always talk about how you say something is more important than what you say, but they tend to forget that when it is their turn to say things. So that's myself and all the men of the world. But you cannot see me.
On our behalf.
A little bit of grace is what we have.
Also sharing
Because honestly, and I'm not saying this because I'm a man, honestly, men do more in finding excuses for their wife. But women talk about it. So saying that I just decided to keep quiet, but immediately you said I just decided to keep quiet. That's not quiet anymore. They get in common so bad. I get it.
Forgive me. Anyways, I've had a woman's testimony on that before on social media that she just starts conversation that does not have edge, that does not have tail. And this though, personally, If you say it is black, and I agree it's black, then the conversation has ended. I must tell you, no, it is black, it is not black. It has a trace of blue. There's a blue in it. Can't you see it? Then we'll go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's just for fun of it. It's just for talking. I just want to talk. And I want you to hear me. And if you want to talk, I will hear you. It's just fun in the house. You see?
The Lord will help you.
Ẹ máa gbàdúrà fún bọ̀dá yín náà. Ọlọ́run fún ọ̀rọ̀ lágbára.
Oh my God. It is not easy. Well, thank you, Lutu.
You're welcome. That is all that we have for today. Thank you so much for this topic. So men's mental health is important. And sincerely, I'm strong on that, on mental health. If a man needs to speak up, speak up. Nobody should have the right to shut them down of how they feel because or can do the back or no. So however a man is feeling, let him be expressive, let him express it and let validate their feelings. And also, if you decide to cry, báwo ni bíbí o, tó bá gba kó rest, o máa rest o ọ̀rẹ́ mi. Tó bá gba kó let out all the emotions, it helps you instead of bottling up trying to be a man. There's no medal for the strongest man yet when it comes to emotion, rather it leads to depression. And that is why we have a lot of suicidal rates for men because they bottle a lot and it leads to depression. Let's learn to speak up when we need to. Thank you so much for being part of today's conversation. Don't mind my yeah. It's just to lighten up the mood. Anyways, thank you so much, guys. Bye.